We are the Necrotizing Fasciitis Foundation, also referred to as the NFF. Our mission is to advocate and spread awareness about necrotizing fasciitis, a rapidly spreading bacterial infection that can destroy skin, fat, and tissue-covering muscles, not to mention lives. Often referred to as the flesh-eating disease or flesh-eating bacteria. To contribute, participate, or for more information, please visit our website at www.necfasc.org.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Steep. I'm your host, Tim Hayden. On this episode of The Steep, we have the fabulous Sarah Klein. Sarah is a necrotizing fasciitis survivor from Israel. Let's add her to the show. Hello, Sarah. Welcome.
Hi, Tim.
How are you?
I'm good today. Thank God. I'm feeling really good. Excited to be here with you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I live in Israel. I've lived in Israel for 27 years. I grew up in America, and I've had half my life in America and half my life here. I met my husband here, and we have 4 beautiful children and 1 grandchild. And I'm a musician, and I'm a doula, and I also am a goldsmith. I do a lot of different things. And I'm a writer.
Definitely. I follow your blog. So why don't you go right ahead and just start us about how your story began, the year, your age, things like that.
Take my glasses off. Okay. So things started with me in April of 2007. I had a small operation to fix an inguinal hernia. That's in the groin, a hernia in the groin. And 4 days after that, I started getting symptoms of tremendous pain. So much pain, I can't even explain it. And fever and shakes, and I passed out a few times. And I got to the hospital. This was a couple days after my hernia surgery. I went back to the hospital, and they didn't know what was wrong with me. They didn't give me any antibiotics. They didn't see any reason to give me antibiotics. But they took me into the hospital, and it was 3 days that I was there before I almost died of necrotizing fasciitis. And then they gave me antibiotics. When my blood pressure went down to 60/40, they realized that something really bad was going on. And I was 39 years old at the time, and I almost died. And I had the emergency surgery on that day. Well, it was 3 days after 3 days after I had been back. So this is already 6 days after my hernia surgery. And so I had the emergency surgery, and they cleared out all the necrotizing fasciitis, put in tremendous amounts of antibiotics, and gave me tremendous amounts of antibiotics, most of which I'm allergic to by now because I've had to have them so many times since then. I've gotten many infections since my NF. And
did the doctors recognize it right away?
No, they didn't. Like I said, I was in the hospital for 3 days before they knew that I was just about dying. And then they took me seriously. There was one point the day before this happened, there was one point where I was in so much pain, and I told the nurse I need more morphine. They were giving me morphine for the pain. I told the nurse I needed more morphine, And in the hallway, she told my husband that she only needs morphine for, it's like spoiling. It's like spoiling her. She doesn't really need it. My husband wanted to just deck her. It was really, really bad. But they did not believe me that I was in that much pain, and they didn't know what was wrong with me. Even though I was after surgery and it should have been something that they thought of, they didn't.
Do you not feel like they were experienced with it at all?
That's correct. And I think that they were very cavalier with me because I was young and strong, and there's no way anything bad could happen to somebody who's young and strong. The doctor who was taking care of me said that. He said that, you're young and strong, there's nothing wrong. And there was definitely something wrong, and nobody noticed until I almost died. Until my blood pressure tanked out.
Did they at any point put you into a coma or anything?
Yeah, so after my original emergency surgery, then I went into a coma, into a medically induced coma. And I was in that for about 4 days. And then they slowly lightened the medication from the coma. And I woke up. They weren't sure if I was going to or not, but I did wake up. I had sepsis and I had organ failure. Many organs were failing. I was on kidney pushers and blood pressure pushers, and I wasn't having any urine output. I was extremely swollen. I was barely recognizable. So my husband says,
do you have any memories from being in the coma? Any dreams or nightmares?
I do. Well, the whole time I remember hearing people's voices. I remember hearing people talking to me and about me, and the doctors' voices. I remember just a lot of voices around and people touching me. I couldn't respond, but I do remember that. And I did have some really disturbing dreams. I guess that's like an ICU psychosis kind of thing. And I had one wonderful, wonderful dream, actually, that I remember till today. This is, we're talking 2007, and now it's 2022. So it's been a while. It's been almost 15 years. Wait, is that right? Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
And I did have one wonderful dream of this mobile above me with broken glass shards dingling sort of right above my face. I'm sure it was the bells that were going off, in the ICU. Wait, I have to turn off my phone here. Come on. Okay. I'm sure it was the bells and dings and everything that was going off in the ICU. But at the time, I didn't know what that was. And it was just this beautiful, beautiful dream. And I wrote about it in my blog.
Your wound, do you remember how many surgeries you had with this?
Well, the wound itself, I was actually pretty lucky. I only needed the one major surgery to take out all the fascia and fat and muscle. I lost a lot of my stomach wall muscle during that surgery. But I only had the one surgery. And then later, like 3 weeks later, or 4 weeks later, something like that, I had the skin graft surgery to cover up the wound. And the skin was taken from my other thigh. The wound happened to be in the lower left part of my belly and on my left thigh and hip. It was pretty big.
I'm going to show a picture that you gave us, and I'm going to go and let everybody know it's kind of graphic.
Okay.
There is what you were just describing, your wound, and then your donor sites from your...
Yep. I remember that very well. It's not too far from where I'm at right now, except it's not red anymore. Now it's skin colored.
Do Did you have any further complications since this?
So many, so many. First of all, I lost a kidney. One of my kidneys didn't come back online, so to speak. And it's still inside me, but it doesn't work. But they left it in there. I've had many, many times of cellulitis, many cellulitis infections, at least 6 or 7 that I was hospitalized for. And each time I got more allergic to more antibiotics, and there's less and less antibiotics that they could give me to save me. So it's really, today it's really a problem. If I get an infection today, it's really a problem because there aren't that many antibiotics that I can take. That's one of the major things that happened to me after NF. Losing a kidney and getting allergic to so many medicines. Oh my gosh, there was 12 years of incredible complications and more surgeries. I had a surgery to put a mesh in the wound area, and then that mesh hurt me a lot, and it was very, very problematic for many, many years. Until 3 years ago when I had it removed. I had a reconstruction surgery after I had gone to the Mayo Clinic to find out where all my pain is coming from, because here in Israel, no doctor could help me. They kept telling me I can't help you. They kept telling me they won't touch me. They won't operate on me. They won't do I can't think of it in English, like an exploratory surgery. I wanted them to do an exploratory surgery. They wouldn't touch me. So I went to the Mayo Clinic. I was having so much pain. I flew to America to the Mayo Clinic, and first of all, they gave me nerve blocks in my stomach so that the pain would go away. That was the first thing that helped. And then they did diagnostics. They said it's most likely that mesh that's in my belly. And they sent me to a very, very famous plastic surgeon who works with them and also in New York. And I went to him the summer after that. The following year, I went to that plastic surgeon, and I had reconstruction surgery where he took out 60% of the mesh. And it turns out it was folded over on itself, and no doctor could see that on my MRIs and CTs. Nobody could see that was the case. And that's what was hurting me so much. So he took out the mesh, and he took off my skin graft, and he pulled the healthy skin together. And I had a true reconstructive surgery, and I was out of pain after that. Until recently, but yeah.
Do you feel like the recent is going to be affiliated with the hernia reconstruction or just the hernia itself?
I really don't know what the pain is now. I think it's a lot of nerve problems that happen from all the surgeries. I've had, between everything that's happened since I had NF, I've had 14 surgeries in this 14 years. And it's not one a year. It's been some years nothing, and some years 3, and some, it's been pretty crazy. I lost my career. I couldn't play horn anymore. I used to play French horn in the orchestra here in my city in Israel, in Beersheba. And I had to quit that job because I couldn't keep up with it. And I'm also a doula. I was taking clients, and now I can't really anymore. It's really a problem. It's really a problem. My health is not great, and I'm back to having pain again, and I don't know if I can take more clients, more doula clients. I'm kind of in a hard space right now.
So after your original surgery, did you have to go through any aftercare, like physical therapy or occupational therapy?
Oh yeah, all of it. Occupational therapy, physical therapy. Actually, my occupational therapy was very interesting because it was scar management. It was about my skin graft and scar management from my thigh, that picture that you showed. That thigh was really problematic. It gave me a lot of pain for the whole first year after that surgery, after the skin graft. And the occupational therapist gave me something that was really helpful. I want everybody to know about this. It's silicone sheaths that go over the scar. It can go over skin graft or the scar on your thigh or wherever your skin graft was taken from. They put these silicone sheaths over it and it sticks to it, not in a way that you can't take it off. It comes off very easily without pain. It's like an amazing thing. And then after that, on top of the silicone sheaths, they put a pressure garment. For me, it was like a girdle because I had lower belly and hip and thigh. But for everybody else, it's gonna whatever. If it's on your leg, it's gonna be on your leg. Whatever. I had a pressure garment on the areas of where my scars were, and until I got that treatment, I was in pain, and that treatment really, really, really saved me. That like the pressure garment and the silicone sheaths really saved me from a lot of pain. I really hope other people have the ability to get this.
Carly's wondering, what did they do for your scar management?
What did they do for my scar management? Well, so that's what I'm saying. They gave me these silicone sheaths and pressure garments.
Okay, so it was just the actual application of clothing was the management.
Well, the silicone, it was like these. It was like from a sheet that they cut it, and you put it on the scar, and then you pull the pressure garment up over it. So yeah.
Someone's asking,
a buffer or was it infused with medication? No, it was a buffer. It was not infused with medication. But
if you have any questions, please submit them. Go ahead, sorry.
Fine. It helped soften the scars, like especially my skin graft, which was hard and inflexible, and it hurt every time I turned or went this way or that way. And the silicone sheaths helped soften it up. It was a really integral part of my healing once I got that.
I just wanted to remind everyone to please, if you have questions, submit them as we're going along live, and I can have Sarah answer them as we go along. What about your support system? How was your support system, and how important was that to your recovery?
Thank God. I had an amazing, amazing support system. First of all, I have a very supportive, loving husband who knows all my issues and knows where I was coming from and believed in me and inspired me and kept me going on the bad days. He is an amazing, amazing person for me. I had 4 small children at the time. There's my husband and me. I had 4 small children at the time, and they're all really, really amazing. They're all grown up now. My youngest is 16. My oldest is 23 with a baby. He's married with a baby. So now they're older, but when I got sick with NF, everybody was really, really small. So I also had a lot of nannies. I couldn't take care of my kids by myself when I was healing. And even afterwards, I was just weak. I was weak for years. It took a really, really long time before I got myself back.
I'm going to jump right back to your scar silicone sheeting. Someone had a question. Did it melt into your skin, the sheeting?
No, it didn't melt in. You could peel it off, and it didn't hurt to peel off. It was like an easy piece of tape. I don't know how to describe it. It stuck on, and then you could just peel it off and change it to to another silicone sheath or whatever. I had it on almost all the time, but it didn't melt in. No.
Okay, we'll get back to your support system. I
So
mean, was it crucial to part of your recovery having them there, your family, husband especially?
absolutely crucial. I would have gotten, I don't know what would have happened to me if I didn't have my husband. Shortly after my NF, about 6 months later, it wasn't immediately after, but it was about 6 months later, I fell into PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder, which many of us have to deal with. Many of us. And my husband just was able to catch me. There were some days, there was one day that I even had all the pills out that I was going to take. I had it all figured out. And my husband saw that. But just by luck, he happened to go where I was at the time and he saw it. And he took me with him to work. It was just, he works at a high school. He's a teacher, but he took me with him and he put me in the teacher's lounge to relax and to hang out and listen to music and just be there with him instead of being home alone. It's just one small example of how he has just kept me from falling into the hole a lot. My PTSD is still with me today. I still have nightmares. With me, it's actually complex PTSD because I have abuse issues from when I was little. So that together with the NF trauma, they labeled me complex PTSD. And till today, I still take medication for it. Had a lot of sleeping problems, Still do. It's not over. I don't know if
So,
PTSD is ever over.
other than your hernia issue, that issue that's reoccurring now, well, I won't say it's because of your hernia, but that area, have you had any lingering effects from your NF itself?
Well, aside from the fact that I have just the one kidney, lingering effects from the NF.
Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, this pain that I have now is completely from the NF areas.
like your mobility, and it affects your mobility and everything?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm still able to go to the gym, which I'm religious about doing like 3 times a week. I really, really, really try to get there 3 times a week. And I just started physical therapy about 3 weeks ago, and I'm doing what she tells me to do in the gym. But it's hard. It's hard, and I'm in a lot of pain. And yeah, I'm still today, 15 years later, affected by my NF. Definitely.
Yeah, it sounds like it's really had an effect on your emotional part of your
Absolutely.
recovery.
Absolutely. No doubt about that.
Would you like to tell us more about your blog?
Sure. My blog got started with my sister-in-law starting out a Caring Bridge website. Like, yeah, there's my blog. Caring Bridge is a platform that people who are sick can write on and disseminate information about their well-being, about what's happening with them to friends and loved ones, friends and family, whatever. So it started with my sister-in-law writing on that Caring Bridge website because so many people were calling my husband to find out how I'm doing. He was getting very overwhelmed in these early days and weeks. So she started this website to disseminate information about what's happening with me. And from there, when I came home from the hospital, like they wrote almost every day what was happening with me. And when I came home from the hospital, I took over and I started writing about what's happening with me. And it was something every day. It was just thing after thing after thing. It was either testing or more infections or pain, or I can't even remember what it was. A lot of kidney problems and kidney testing, and there was just so much going on during those early years or early months and years actually. after the Caring Bridge website, I went on to my own blog. I decided to bring it off of the Caring Bridge and put it on my own blog. And that's the address you see below with Blogspot as the carrier. And I wrote for a long time, at least once a week. And then I stopped writing for a while because after my reconstruction surgery 3 years ago, I felt like things were so much better. I felt like my life was getting back together and I wasn't in pain anymore for the first time in 12 years. And I felt like I didn't need the blog anymore. However, I just reopened it last week. I started writing again, and I'm going to keep writing in it now because I do need it, and I'm in pain again, and it's hard for me to burden my loved ones with what's going on with me. I'd rather write about it, and whoever wants to read about it can. It's easier for me knowing that the people I know and love are reading about it, and then I don't have to burden them with talking about it. If I have a coffee date with somebody, I can assume that they know what's going on with me, and I don't have to say it. And it's really good for me.
So how is your family doing now, today? Now, 2022.
Right. They're doing good. They are doing good. I have, yeah, the door is open, but that's okay. I have one son who has schizophrenia, but he has the right medication finally, and he's doing really, really well. That's my second son. My first son is married with a daughter and a beautiful wife. My second son is doing well. He's 22. He's the one with schizophrenia, and he just started working a gardening job. He's doing gardening all over the city, which is great. My daughter is 19, and she's a redhead, and she has a redhead personality. She's doing great. I mean, and my little one, my 16-year-old, he's in 10th grade. You know, at the top of his class, and he's got a lot of friends, and thank God, everybody now is doing well. But at the time, there was even one nanny who quit on me because one of my kids was hitting her. Like, my kids were very angry and very upset at me being home but not being able to take care of them, that they had to listen to somebody else and not me, and somebody else was bathing them and putting them to bed and making dinner for them and doing their homework with them, and I was up in my bed a lot. Sometimes they would come up and get into bed with me, but those were really, really hard years, and they acted out, each one in their own way. I remember my daughter lost control of her bathroom functions at a way too old age, at 7 or 6. My son, like I said, he was getting angry at the babysitters. Instead of getting angry at me for being sick, he knew that wasn't a good option. Somehow in his head, he knew that was not a good option, and he got angry at the babysitters. And like I said, one of them actually quit because he hit her. It was very hard. The babysitters had a very hard job because I was sick. I wasn't just out working somewhere.
So you feel like all of that was contributed from your NF?
Definitely.
For them to deal with it?
Yes, definitely. Each one had their own way of sort of acting out. My oldest son took the job of the oldest son, and he started taking care of everybody, which wasn't his job when he was 7,
Right.
They grew up faster than other kids. They grew up, they knew how to cook early, they knew how to take care of themselves early, get places, not depend on me. And that was a hard lesson that they had to learn, that they can't depend on me to be there for them all the time. And I wanted to be. It was hard. It was so hard.
Do you think it also helped them in a way at this age, having to learn all of that early on? I mean, not the negative part, the cooking and finding their own, arranging things that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. They learned how to get themselves places, either ask for rides from other people or learn how to take the buses. You know, they learned a lot more independence at an earlier age than most kids learn. And yeah, now it serves them well. But they all remember the times that I was sick, and they can tell you from their points of view, they can tell you what that was like for them.
Right. And I'm glad that they're doing good now. I mean, you've got them at a good point.
Thank God. Thank God. Yeah. They are
That has a
really
lot to do with the strength of their mother. You know, you are a warrior. You did survive NF along with many other things.
That's what they say. That's what they say.
Well, Sarah, I
I'm not
appreciate.
sure how much I take credit for myself and how much I give credit to God. But between the two of us, they managed. The kids managed.
Any advice for new NF survivors or people who are just now going through it?
Advice. Wow. So much happened. So much happened. I mean, I think important advice for new NF survivors is getting that scar therapy, the silicone sheaths and the pressure garments. That was a really, really big deal for me. That was a life changer. That was definitely a life changer. More advice is to find as much support as you can. I had therapists. I had a PTSD therapist, and I had psychologists, different people along the way who really supported me. Don't be scared to reach out. PTSD is serious, and it affects us, and it affects almost all of us who have had NF. And know that you deserve to reach out and get help.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you
Well, I
deserve it.
appreciate you being here and sharing your experience, Sarah.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to say also that part of my story is that there was a lawsuit about in the 6th year after NF, because here in Israel, the law is you can sue with medical things up until 7 years. So in the 6th year, I had this lawsuit and we won. The hospital admitted to their mistakes because there was a cascade of mistakes that happened. It wasn't just one thing. It was one thing after another. It was like a domino effect of what happened to land me in that coma. And I want to say that if anybody is thinking of a lawsuit or needs any advice about that, I'm here. You can reach out to me. I'm online at odd hours because I live across the world from most of you. And, you know, you can definitely reach out to me if you want advice about that. You're currently going through it. Lynn Lyons. Wow. Hang in there, Lynn. Hang in there. It does get better. I know that I've painted a pretty difficult picture because I went through a lot of difficult stuff. But I can definitely say it gets better. It's not the same difficulty in the beginning as it is 3 years later or 2 years later. You do get stronger and you do get better. If you've made it this far, Lynn, and you're on the computer with us, you're doing good. Hang in there.
For sure, for sure. I totally agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, Sarah. I know it's kind of late there, or getting kind of late there where you are.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to make sure to check out Sarah's blog because it's awesome. It is a very awesome blog.
Thank you. And you can go into the archives and read the older stuff. It might help you with where you're at.
Well, thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Tim.
If you want to hang out backstage, I'll be back there in just a couple minutes.
Okay, I'll hang out.
All right. I'd like to thank Sarah Klein for being here on this episode today. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks. I hope to see you next time for another episode of The Steep. Please remember to be kind and to smile. Have a great day.